Can you believe it that both Real Madrid and Bayern Munich have been dumped out? Both Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, they've been dumped out of the UEFA Champions League. Can you believe it? And what is quite strange, it is that Real Madrid have been dumped out of the UEFA Champions League by Arsenal. Can you imagine? They've been dumped out of the UEFA Champions League by Arsenal. Of all the teams, of all the teams in the world, it is Arsenal who dumped Real Madrid out of the UEFA Champions League. And convincingly, quite convincingly, not by any chance-taking methods. No, convincingly. When you look at the aggregate score, it is 5-1. 5-1. Because in the first leg, Arsenal defeated Real Madrid by 3-0 in the first leg. Remember, the first leg was played at the Emirates Stadium in London. It was Arsenal's home game. Arsenal defeated Real Madrid by 3-0. And now going into the second leg, there was still a gleam of hope for Real Madrid and its supporters, because, as you know, Real Madrid have pulled off this kind of comebacks. It wasn't for the first time that Real Madrid found themselves in such a unfavorable position. It wasn't for the first time. So there was always that hope that Real Madrid could pull themselves out of this unfavorable situation. Because if you consider how previously Real Madrid has always been able to fight back from those kinds of situations, so there was still that hope that even in this scenario, Real Madrid could still fight back and be able to make something out of this match, out of this the entire tie. But unfortunately, that wasn't to be the case, because Arsenal went on to win. As you all know by now, that Arsenal went on to win the second leg by 2-1, therefore making the aggregate score to be 5-1. And as I've said, you also must consider Real Madrid are the defending champions. Real Madrid are the most successful. Successful club in the history of the UEFA Champions League. No team has won the amount of UEFA Champions League titles same as Real Madrid. Real Madrid have won it more than any other team. So you consider their pedigree. Hence, there was always that hope that even coming into this match, the second leg, that's what gave them hope that they could pull off a comeback against Arsenal, because they've got the experience. They've got the experience of pulling off such stunning wins, as their experience shows. And we also consider the fact that Arsenal aren't necessarily the greatest team when it comes to the history of the UEFA Champions League. Arsenal are not necessarily the greatest team, because now them eliminating Real Madrid, it means they are only reaching the UEFA Champions League semi-finals after 16 years. The last time Arsenal reached the UEFA Champions League semi-finals, it was 16 years ago. So then you compare the pedigree, that the last time Arsenal reached the semi-finals 16 years ago to now, where they eliminate the holders Real Madrid. How many times has Real Madrid won the UEFA Champions League in the intervening period? About 5 to 6 times. So you looked at that pedigree, hence could be forgiven for thinking that when they get to Bernabeu, Real Madrid will turn the tables on Arsenal. But that wasn't to be the case. That was not to be the case. And here's why that was not to be the case. Real Madrid are very predictable. That is why even in the Spanish La Liga, they are not necessarily doing that well. Because you can see that Barcelona are running away with the league title. It is because Real Madrid have become so predictable. You could see even last night, they were unable to play through the middle. Meaning their game lacks imagination. It lacks the creativity. They always wanna go out wide and then try to cut in or whip in across. I mean, that's a very predictable way of playing. That is why Mikel Arteta, the Arsenal's coach, was able to plan for them. Thoroughly. And the way Real Madrid approached the match vindicated him. Because each time they got the ball, they were looking for Vinicius on the left. If we were to look at the data, you'd see that most of their attacks came through their left-hand side, which is the Arsenal's right-hand side. On the right-hand side, nothing much was happening. Where Rodrigo plays, nothing much was happening. So it made Arsenal's job very easy to know which areas to crowd. Because Arsenal knew that whenever Real Madrid goes out wide, they just have to pack the center here and ensure that whenever they try to cut in or they try to bring the cross, it is dealt with. And indeed, it was dealt with. Because even look at the goal that Real Madrid scored. It was not out of their own creativity or their own geniuses. No. It was because the Arsenal central defender Saliba went to sleep there and then Vinicius Jr. dispossessed him and went on to score. And it also look at the fact that in the first half, Arsenal received a penalty. Unfortunately, Bukayo Saka could not convert that penalty. It was saved by Courtois after Bukayo Saka tried to do a panenka over the goalkeeper. So you look at all those factors, you see that actually even last night, away from home, Arsenal played the best football, much better football than Real Madrid. This is despite the fact that Real Madrid were playing at home. So we have to ask now the question, is it a case of maybe Carlo Ancelotti has run out of ideas? Has run out of ideas in terms of his game model and all of that? Because as I've said, that nothing was coming in the middle. Could it also be the fact because Luka Modric was not playing and also age has caught up with Luka Modric? Remember, there was a time when the Real Madrid midfield was made, especially the time when they were winning the UEFA Champions League titles back to back. It had Casemiro, it had Toni Kroos, and it had Luka Modric. They were able to play those defense splitting passes to find the attackers. They could vary their game. They were able to go out wide. They were able to also to play through the middle. But now it's just one-dimensional. They are unable to play. Because the only player who seems to be capable to do that is Valverde. But even last night, and also the issue becomes this. Arsenal had Thomas Partey and Declan Rice in that central midfield. Therefore, crowding that space and suffocating Real Madrid. You see? So, and again, the problem is that with Real Madrid, of course, is not the same as Barcelona. Real Madrid does not have what you can call the identity, the soul, in terms of how they play football. You know, in Barcelona, whoever comes in at Barcelona, there's a game model. Yes, we can try and improve there and there, tweak there and there, but the fact is that there's a game model that you need to play at Barcelona. And if you do not do that, they do not hesitate to fire a coach who does not stick true to their game model. So now with Arsenal have now advanced to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. They are going to face off against PSG. If you guys still remember, I did a video I think about a month ago. It was at a time when PSG dumped Liverpool out of the competition. I asked that, could this be the year for PSG? Considering all the investment, the billions that have been spent by the owners of the club, could this be the year that they finally get what they've been yearning for, which is the UEFA Champions League title? Because all the investment that they've made, it was ultimately to try and get the what they call the UEFA Champions League title. So could this be their season, considering that a club such as Real Madrid is now out of the competition? Does this mean that now PSG, does this increase their chances to win the UEFA Champions League? But now they have to go through the very same Arsenal. And this UEFA Champions League title remains, now it is the only prize that Arsenal can really contest for this season, considering that the English Premier League title is gone, Liverpool are gone. They've ran away with the title. There's no way that Arsenal will be able to catch Liverpool. So could this be the season for either Arsenal or PSG? But then also has to look at the other semi-final. You've got Barcelona. Barcelona under Hansi Flick, they've proven now this season to be one of the best teams in Europe. And it's been years since Barcelona won the UEFA Champions League. I think it was in 2016 or 2015. So it's almost 10 years now it's almost 10 years since Barcelona won the UEFA Champions League. So could be their season as well now. You also look at Inter Milan. Barcelona have to get through Inter Milan. And we know Italians how they are when it comes to these stages of the competition. They once did it in 2009 under Jose Mourinho when they won the UEFA Champions League. And they knew how to frustrate these attacking teams. They knew how to neutralize and frustrate those teams. So of the 4 teams that are remaining, who guys do you think will win the UEFA Champions League? Or who do you think stands a better chance of going all the way to win the UEFA Champions League? I mean, look at the fact that Inter Milan eliminated Bayern Munich. Inter Milan eliminated Bayern Munich. So who do you guys think will eventually go all the way to win it? I'd say with Real Madrid now being out of the competition, my money is on Barcelona. If not Barcelona, but then PSG. But then you cannot overlook Arsenal. I mean, it is no small feat to be able to eliminate the holders, Real Madrid. Of course, this Real Madrid is no longer the same Real Madrid like we saw in terms of the intensity, the drive. It's no longer the same Real Madrid in terms of the pedigree and all of that. But it is no small feat for a team like Arsenal to be able to eliminate Real Madrid out of the UEFA Champions League. But my money is on Barcelona. I don't know you guys. Let me hear you guys on the chat box, in the comment section below. Who do you guys think will emerge the winners here? Or can start with the semi-finals between PSG and Arsenal. Who do you think will make it to the final? And then between Inter Milan and Barcelona, who do you think will make it to the final? Who are we likely to see in the final? Who are we likely to see in the final? I'm predicting a Barcelona and PSG final. That's my prediction. Might be wrong. Let me hear you let's have that conversation. Let's debate. Who do you guys think will make it to the final? Then when you get to the final, then you can begin have the conversation that who do you think or who do you predict to be the ultimate winner. All right, thanks guys for tuning in. Let's enjoy the weekend, guys. Thank you very much. Please remember to subscribe before you leave the platform. Please remember to subscribe. Remember to like, comment, and share. Thank you very much.